was not wrong. There's a lot of yeast at the bottom of this bottle.
Gross.
Yeah, I'm going to poop tomorrow like a champ.
Welcome, CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths.
I'm Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowery Smith.
Don't worry.
We're cousins.
How's it going, Lowery? How was your weekend away at Lutzen?
It was very magical. Walked along the beach, and it was a gorgeous time.
This sounds like really a singles ad. Like, I enjoy nice walks along the beach.
I was going off of what you sound like. How was your weekend away? Yeah, it was good. Went up to Lutzen.
You at least got away from this freaking hot weather. Ugh.
Yeah, it was like 65 and so kind perfect. Of drizzly, misty up there.
Nice. Yeah.
And it was perfect temperature for me, and got, around the lake, and it was good for me. I think it was good for my mental health.
That's
so
good.
I didn't think I was doing too bad, and then I got up there, smelled the trees a little bit, and I was like, I missed that. Definitely missed that.
Miss being outside and seeing. Well, yeah. When was the last time you seen? Oh no, Grandma and Grandpa came by a couple months ago when Elise was born, right?
Yeah, they've come by maybe once or twice since then too.
Nice.
Mass outside.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So.
Very
but
nice.
It was good to spend time with them.
And then you got home, and nature came in your house and did something to you, didn't it?
Yeah, we had a hornet down on the basement today, and I got stung on the forearm.
Your freaking arm is Popeye right now. You're looking before the cast, and Larry's like pushing on his arm, and it just like indents in. It was so gross.
Yeah, so from the elbow to about mid hand on the bottom of my arm is very puffy currently.
Nice.
And very hot. It is burning up.
At least you're not allergic,
hopefully
so
I'm
that's
alive
good.
Tomorrow. Yeah, not that I know of, but.
Well, I got injured too this week.
Yeah, you had to one-up me. What's wrong with you?
So we had the semifinals, or the semifinals. So of volleyball. And the funny thing is, we lost the first match against the second place team. We were a 6th seed and beat the third place team. Whatever. Long story longer. Lost to the second place team. We actually beat them the first game. They beat us the second game, and then we had the lead, and they came back and beat us by 2 points in the third game. So we go on to the loser bracket. You got to lose double elimination. So we get down to loser bracket, and we beat the first game, and we're winning the second game. And one of my other team members, his wife or fiance, calls and is like, "Baby's coming. You got to come home right now." So he leaves, and we're just like, "Oh shit!" We kind of knew. We didn't know if it was coming that
We're
night.
more important. You stay.
Well, because it was 21 to 18, and we have to go up to 25. I'm like, "Oh, can you just wait like just a little bit longer?" So, anyways, he leaves. We end up losing that game.
They don't come that fast.
Yeah.
You're going to be in that for at least 20 hours.
Exactly. Well, wait till you hear the end of the story. So we lose 25-23. So we squandered that one. So then we're playing the third game, and those go to 15 in the playoffs. So we're worth 5, and we're figuring it out. Now we've had a little bit of time to prep and figure this out. So we're winning 13-11, I think. So we only have 2 more points to win. I freaking am diving for a ball, and I dive out, and my arm hits I get the ball, arm hits the ground, my whole body momentum just pops it out of place. Like just
your shoulder out of place.
Yeah. And I've done it with my left shoulder 3 times. I did that in high school soccer. I think we talked about it once.
We have.
For controversial questions. Never did it in my right. And I'll say I've done it with my left. Every time it pops out of place now, it's kind of like, oh, I've done this. It's pretty easy. I just move my arm. It doesn't hurt that bad.
Back in.
Yeah. It popped out, and you have all this muscle just pulling it back in and pushing it against your body. And it was the worst pain. I was about to pass out. So Sydney and I leave. Like, she brings me to the hospital, and they have to take x-rays because they got to make sure it didn't break because of a first time pop out.
Did your teammates also say, stay?
Right. No, we forfeited at that point because then we were down to 3 people because it was Cindy and I leaving. So we got knocked out because of both, me getting knocked out, Cindy out, and the guy having the baby. Anyways, we go in. I'm in the worst pain. They gave me all sorts of drugs, and none of it was touching it at all. And then they flipped me over onto my stomach, and they're like, all right, they took x-rays.
This is going to hurt worse.
Well, they took x-rays, made sure it wasn't broken. Then they were like, all right, we're going to flip you over on your stomach and put your arm down below the table. And then all of a sudden the pain went away. I'm like, well, we didn't hear anything. We didn't feel anything. Is it back in place? So they take x-rays again because it didn't do the normal suck in and pop in. So they had to take x-rays again. And meanwhile, I'm loopy on drugs at that point. I'm just sitting there like, hey, the pain is finally gone. And now I can actually enjoy these drugs that I'm on. So took the x-rays. It's all in. They load me up in the wheelchair because I couldn't walk at that point. Because, as we're walking I'm getting wheelchaired out of the hospital, the guy that from my volleyball team is walking into the hospital. This is at 11 o'clock at night. And he's like, yeah, baby's still coming. I got enough time to run home and get stuff. But yeah, it was like, I don't know. It was fucking crazy. So
that's
cool story.
Congratulations to him. And I feel bad for you.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah.
So that's pretty sweet. I have a ortho appointment on Wednesday to see what the damage actually is. But normally when I do it with my left arm, it's like 3 to 6 months. So fun stuff.
So you're out of volleyball for a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
That means we could double record now. Look at the bonus here. We have time now at night.
Why can we double record? Because I'm not playing volleyball.
Because now you have a free Thursday night.
Yeah, there we go. Well, the part that really sucks is, have I told you I'm building a house? Because I'm not done building the house. And one of the main last things is painting, like doing the second coat of paint. Yes. And I don't trust people if you don't have painting skills. I'd trust you with painting. I don't know about you on cutting. I'm not sure if I know I taught you. We painted enough, not taught you, but we painted enough that I think you're pretty good at cutting. But a lot of people think that they know how to paint, and then you go and you look at their house and you're like, you don't know how to paint.
You don't know. I had a buddy that was like, hey, can you come and help me paint? Me and this other guy, we're going to do it. We know how. I was like, I'll leave that to you, and then I'll do carpet for you another day. And I showed up to do carpet. I went, what the fuck did you do? They didn't take the faceplates off of the switches to outlets.
And they're just
and then also taped around it.
Oh my god.
And then they didn't precisely tape the trim. It was just was a half inch above the trim that wasn't cut at all. God, it was fucking hilarious. And then he's like, can you help us? I know it looks awful. And I was like, no, man.
You're screwed. We did a painting party one time with Trombley, Jeremy, Chris, and Justin, and myself. And well, first off, Jeremy was smart. He was like, I don't know how to paint. I'm not doing it. I'll watch you guys. And we were drinking while we were doing it. And Chris is who we were doing it for. It was his daughter's room. And so we start painting. Dude is not even he's just hitting the trim, just willy-nilly, just everywhere. And Trombley and I both know how to paint. And so we were like, Chris, you're done. Get out of here. And frickin' Justin is drunk and he's sitting there and he's laughing and scolding Chris for being a terrible painter. Meanwhile, he's pouring his paint out of his bucket or out of his tray onto the floor. And we're like, all right, Justin, you're out of here. So it ended up being this painting party just turned into me and Trombley painting the entire room because we kicked everybody else out. It was pretty bad. So that's where I'm at with this is I don't know what I'm going to do as who's going to paint because I don't use tape, as you know. I use the
sure. I don't even use that anymore.
Yeah, the whatchamacallit, the scraper. I use a scraper and then a paintbrush, and that's how I cut. And so I just don't know what I'm going to do. Anyways, wah, wah, wah.
It means that you're going to really enjoy one coat of paint.
Yeah, exactly, for a long time. Side note really quick. I might have to go for a second here. For some odd reason, Amazon is delivering our TV at 10:15. Yep, they are pulling up right now. Can you give me a second, Larry? I'll be right back. Yeah, I'm seeing them pull up right now.
Ahead.
All right, give me just a second. I'm going to pause everything.
Few minutes later. How'd that TV go? Huh?
I like that you did the whisper 5 minutes later.
I hear you got a new Amazon package.
Yeah, I didn't realize that they would deliver until at 10:15 at night. That's kind of crazy. Yeah. It kept saying, like, Cindy's like, they're going to deliver between 7 and 10. I'm like, okay. But to get to our house, it's still a new address. So everybody gets lost. So that was fun. Anyways, it's a return package. So our first TV had dots in it, and this one is now the new one. So cool stuff. Cool story. Where were we? I don't remember what you're talking about.
It doesn't matter. What are we gonna do today, Lowery? So we're gonna do cards to cut for
what episode, Lowery?
No, that's your job.
No. Episode 132. What are we doing today, Lowery?
We're going to do cards to cut for one of our patrons' decks, Matt Heinzman. He has I should probably look it up again.
Padeem.
Padeem. Did I get rid of it?
Did you?
No.
It's Padeem, Council of Innovation. So he's the one for legendary creature. It's 3 and 1 blue. Artifacts you control have hexproof, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you get to draw if you have the highest converted mana cost, or tied for the highest mana cost.
Draw a card.
Artifact.
Yeah.
So sweet.
And then we have a couple of other things that might fit in. We might end up talking about M20 rotating cards.
I think we'll be able to fit that in. Don't you think so?
Yeah. And then maybe not. Let's not bring up.
Nope, let's not bring that up.
Rotating cards, M20.
Yeah. Let's not put too much on our plate and then later go, nope, never mind, we didn't do it.
I'm pretty sure we do that all the time.
Yeah.
It has come to be expected, just like Tuesdays.
So, yeah, exactly. Tuesdays is the thing now. It's like a early surprise if we do Mondays.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
So what are you drinking, Lowery?
So I'm going to go after 2 because you keep on getting given shit because you're willing to see people.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm drinking Odell Brewing Company Mountain Standard IPA, and I am pleasantly happy with it. It's a very simple IPA, but nothing too harsh, very easy to drink, but still some taste to it. So I'm actually really happy with it.
Did you pick that up? Like, where is it at? Is that like I thought you'd bring back something from the nurse. Sure.
No, I didn't go into any stores.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No. Just trying to, keep the environment small, go up into my little area, and then don't interact as much as possible still.
Gotcha.
Just hug a tree.
Well, I interacted with Jeremy. I got Josh sent some beers, but I have to do Jeremy's first because Cindy wanted to taste it because it's 2 beers. Actually, he gave me 3. Ooh. We'll do one later, but this one is from Montgomery Brewing, and it's very interesting because you mix the 2 beers together and it's peanut butter and jelly. So
what?
Yeah. So the one is Triple Berry Bomb, and it's a sour with raspberry, blackberry, blueberry, and a touch of lactose and vanilla. And the other one is a peanut butter porter, and you mix them together, and it tastes like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. It's freaking delicious.
What is that one called again? I'm writing this one down.
It's really good. Montgomery Brewing. And dude,
Montgomery Brewing, is that like from the ashes of Montgomery Ward, or
it's a Minnesota.
It was a
joke that it went over my head. Montgomery, Minnesota
joke.
And the funny thing is, you can't tell by the video on this, but these are 16 ounce cans, so they're big. And you mix them together.
2 16 ounces together.
It's a lot of beer.
And
perfect for my gout toe.
Yeah. All right, peanut butter jelly time.
Yep, it's really good. So actually, Jeremy also dropped off some.
I'm really jealous about that, though.
Meds for gout stuff that he used to take and just test it out. And So far, I haven't been noticing my toe at all because my shoulder's hurting. So it's been working. Whatever he's giving me and all that stuff, it's working.
Did you ever see the movie Major Pain?
Yes.
Remember the beginning where somebody's going, I'm hurt.
And then he like breaks their finger or something like that.
Their fingers. My finger.
Well, now you're thinking about the other pain. You're thinking about your finger. Yeah,
that
was a great
what it feels
movie.
like, huh?
Yeah, so it's been nice to drink some beers again, and I'll have a jawbreaker from our Discord. He sent over one that I've already tried. It was a very good sour, and I'll drink. And
I keep on repeating myself. You have to save me one of the Avenger beers.
That's the one that I had, and it's very good.
Save me one.
Okay,
we got to somehow figure out how to meet up.
You're gonna have to come outside your bubble for a second and see me. And then disinfect the can that I give you.
Well, I can quarantine it for a couple days. That's fine.
I'm in my own little bubble. Our bubble, we really haven't seen a lot. Well, I guess I do see Jeremy and those guys a little bit. Go to Menards a lot.
It's a lot bigger bubble than mine.
All right. So, I think that's. Oh no. We need to do the Discord. So we do have a new patron. Mr. Nick Wilson, you are a cool ass motherfucker. How about that? You like that instead of you rock?
I mean, yes, I do like that better than stealing from Command Zone. Yes, you are a cool ass motherfucker.
Cool ass motherfucker, Nick Wilson.
Why not a cool ass meat forcer?
A meat MFer.
Because
MFer. We'll just do MFer. We'll just start.
You're a
cool ass
MFer.
Yeah.
Well,
you're
a cool fucking motherfucker.
No, you're cool ass MFer.
Okay. A cool ass.
A cool ass MFer. Or we should shorten it down. Motherfucker.
Cool. CAM.
Or we're just gonna just all letters. You know.
Acronyms.
And that gets us to 44 patrons. We get to 50 and we get to make the it's our patron goal where we get to do the Discord deck, where we'll do something interesting with the whole Discord making
we'll make
deck.
a deck with the Discord, and we have no idea how that's going to work out. So
we have 6 patrons still to wait. So we got about a year and a half before that happens. But yeah, you guys can go. That's the way you guys can support the show. Go to Patreon. $1 gets you into the Discord. $5 or more gets you Proxy of the Week each month. That is awesome. And then the free way to support the show is go to YouTube, subscribe there, check out the videos. You can listen to our podcast there as well. And then you can check out Twitter, where you see the Proxies of the Week. You see sharing with myself, and when the podcast is going to be on Monday or Tuesday. Some other fun stuff there too, but a lot of stuff gets on the Discord. We said it before. Discord is like what AOL chat, and that might be dating us a little bit. I
just did a Montgomery Ward bankruptcy joke earlier. I think we're fine on being dated.
But instant messaging, remember that shit? That's what it kind of is right now. I hear my computer makes the little Discord noise, and Cindy's like, "Your boys are talking to you again." And I do check my phone. I'm like, "Oh, what'd they say?" Okay, I'll respond to that later. Oh, I don't need to respond. That's Lowery responding. That was the weird thing, is you being...
I don't need to respond.
Lowery respond. Well, no, I could tell that you were out of town because like it was really quiet and people would say something and I'd like chat a little bit. And then I was playing cockatrice with a guy in Jaw last night, and all of a sudden Discord was just blowing up. And I'm like, guess who's home, guys? Because you were like responding to all the other stuff that was said during the day. It was pretty funny. And then go to Gmail. That's where you guys can send us messages directly, songs, whatever. That's where you also can do your proxy picks.
Mm-hmm.
So that is done. Now I think we have a new sounder for going into our episode, like our segments.
Oh. Cards to cut, or just a new random?
Just. I think this fits perfect.
I don't want relationship. I just want bang bang bang. I don't want to know your name. I just want bang 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 bang.
Yeah,
I think that's a pretty good lead in. How
I can't
was that song stuck in your head? Did you end up going to watch that video afterwards or no?
No, but I've
You just have that
sang
part.
it and said bang, bang, bang
Yeah, I know.
multiple times throughout the week. So I think it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be a thing at least.
I don't want relationship. I just want bang bang bang.
Bang, bang, bang.
Bang, bang, bang. Yeah. I mean, it's so chill too.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's chill in like an aggressive way. Like we're trying to,
Yeah.
we want to do something here.
I don't want to know your name. I just want to bang, bang, bang. All right. So we have Matt Heinzman's cards to cut with Padeem. When you first look at the deck, what are we looking at here? Basically,
I mean, this is mono blue artifact heavy deck. Dot deck.
Right? Deck. Yeah. It's your straight. I mean, it's an artifact beater is what it is. From when I'm first looking at it, it's trying to get there's a bunch of pumps, bunch of things that get your creatures bigger, your artifacts bigger, and you just swing through and kill with damage is how I see it. Were there any loops or anything like that where you win the game type of thing? I didn't see too many of that. I more saw that this was just to beat face with bigger creatures.
Yeah, this is pretty straightforward, I believe.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a buddy of mine, so I know he likes to do a certain thing in a blue deck or every deck, but we'll get to that.
Okay,
because
so
I cut them.
So we talked about it before, like which ones we were picking. Mm-hmm. We have actually a pretty similar list of things to cut, but we have different things. Everything that we say to put in is completely different, so we don't have the same ones there. But it's interesting that we picked the similar ones to actually cut with this. The one thing that's really cool is that Padeem, if he's in play, all your artifacts have hexproofs. It kind of has that built-in, you don't need to protect your stuff as much, and then it also has a draw ability. So if you have the highest powered artifact or highest casting cost artifact, you can draw off of that. So that part's kind of cool because there were certain things where I was like, oh man, he doesn't have protection. And I was like, oh yeah, Padeem, it already has it in there. And then I was like, oh, why does he have this card in there? It's based off a drawing. He's not, Padeem. Yeah, he's drawing more cards.
He's drawing extra cards.
So that being said, one of the first cuts that I wanted to do, and this is similar to yours, so was Tidal Barracuda. I like this card, but it just doesn't seem to fit in the theme of this. So what Tidal Barracuda is, it's 3 and a blue. It's a fish. It was from the last Commander set, I believe, 2020, right? And it's a 3/4, and it's any player may cast spells as though they had flash. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. So it's kind of like chaos a little bit, but it doesn't really fit into this. And so what I thought to do instead, you add in some chaos, but make it fit in a little bit more, but adding in Karn, the new Karn, the Great Creator. And I thought that could do some interesting things because it's kind of screwing with your opponents because it's making it so activated abilities of your opponent's artifacts can't be activated. That just screws them right there. And then you can actually turn your artifacts that aren't creatures into artifact creatures. So it's utilizing two things there. You're still having that Tidal Barracuda type screwing opponents over kind of thing. Really screwing them over because just think you can't use your soul rings, you can't use your sensei's tops, you can't use a lot of what people use in Commander, and then at the same time it can kind of help you. And the other part is, I know this won't come in very often, but its minus ability, you can use that if somebody exiles your stuff, because most likely what's getting exiled is artifacts, and it says you can take something that's outside of the game or an exile, an artifact. And so it potentially you might be able to bring stuff back that gets exiled from other players. So there's that.
Yeah. I mean, I do like that fish, the Barracuda, but at the same time, I agree. It's like a good stuff card in the deck, but it helps everybody with that chaos part. Mm-hmm. But then it also protects you on your turn. But if you're doing everything that you would want at instant speed, like what are you protecting yourself from on your turn? I have definitely tried to fit this into decks.
Oh, I have too. Yeah, I tried to put it in Brewvac too because it's like that's blue. I'm like, all right, this is going in there, but it didn't make it very far. But it does seem like when we spoiled this, we thought it was a really good card. Not we spoiled it. Wizards didn't give us the spoiler. They won't do that.
No, they won't talk to us at all. But I think I don't hate the card in the deck, but I do like Karn Great Creator here, especially when you don't have like the Mycosynth Lattice lock.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because that would suck.
Yeah, that would suck for sure because that shuts down lands and all that stuff. But I think having it in here, it technically helps you. I also wouldn't want to play it with that card if you're in a heavy like steal meta or copy meta. Like if somebody copies Karn the Great Creator, that sets you so much further behind.
Oh yeah, yeah, that would suck.
But I mean,
there
as
isn't
long as you know what your meta is, I think it's fine.
Yeah, for sure. But you had the same card, right? Tidal Barracuda?
No, not on that.
You
one.
didn't have.
It was on my like list of stuff.
So why don't you do one that we didn't have? I didn't have on my list too. Then.
All right, so I'm going to go with just a plain old Palladium mirror, which is 3 colorless mirror, and it's probably just a 1/1/2/2 whatever, but it taps for 2 colorless mana. And to me, I would much rather have like choose your choice, shoot your shot with between Grand Architect, Chief Engineer, or Inspiring Statuary. Grand Architect, you're able to tap a blue creature, and then it gives you 2 mana for artifact spells or abilities, and then you can pay a blue to turn an artifact into a blue creature. And so that can ramp you big time. Chief Engineer gives all of your artifacts Convoke, which is really big. Like I'm just trying to add bigger mana ramp rather than Palladium Mirror that only adds 2. That also has Summoning Sickness, to whereas Grand Architect and Chief Engineer does not. Inspiring Statuary is pretty nice because you have a good mixture. It's not just like all artifacts in this deck. It's like blue creature or blue spells and artifacts. So to me, Inspiring Statuary, if you stick with like your Stroke of Genius cards with X spells, you can tap all of your artifacts to make those X spells much bigger.
I dig it.
That's kind of where I was. So Palladium Mirror, I would definitely cut, and I'd probably, if I had to choose one, I'd probably just go Grand Architect.
I was leaning that one, or I do like the Chief Engineer ad there too.
He doesn't go full on like tons of creatures though.
Yeah.
So both could be rough. Like I think it's a weird. It can be whatever you feel like is necessary. Like if he feels like he's getting enough creatures out, then Grand Architect or Chief Engineer are better than Inspiring Statuary.
I would say your Grand Architect is probably what you're saying there, because it is replacing a card that does a similar thing. Like you have that ability on this. You're saying an untapped blue creature you control and you get the 2 mana. Well, that takes away that mirror. I mean, that's exactly what the mirror does. It gives you 2 mana for tapping a creature.
So at the very least, this is a straight up replacement for the Palladium Mirror with Grand Architect, and then just bonuses on top of that.
Yeah, and it's the same casting cost. So, I dig it. That's really good. Okay, my next one, and this is one that we have. I think all the rest the same? I think they are.
How about you just say it, and then I'll say if it is the same.
Elixir of Immortality.
I also chose this one.
Yeah. This one, what I wanted to replace is something, because what Elixir does is you tap 2, tap it, gain 5 life, shuffle it and your graveyard into your library. It's a good getting your graveyard back into your hand. But I'd rather have something that you can use a little bit more. So one that I've actually been using a lot, and it was in my Brewvac deck, and I really dig this card, is Midnight Clock. And what Midnight Clock does is it also gives you a mana with it. So it's a 1 and 2. Is it drop? Yeah. 1 and 2. It taps for a blue. It is also an artifact. So that's kind of nice. And at the beginning of each upkeep, you put an hour counter on it. When you get to the 12th hour, you sacrifice it, shuffle your hand, your graveyard into your library, then you draw 7 cards. So it's a good way to replenish your hand back if you later game and stuff. And you can tap, I believe it's 1 blue and 2 colorless to put a counter on it. So you can kind of control it a little bit if you had extra mana, or if you had infinite mana, you could do it right away type of thing. But this is I think a better replacement for that, because you're getting a mana rock off of it. You're being able to use it, and then it also is drawing you and reshuffling. Instead of the other one is you're just shuffling your graveyard. You're gaining 5 life. 5 life, yeah, that's good, gaining life, but in Commander, that's so minuscule to the grand scheme of things. I think the only benefit that you see with Elixir is that he can tap 2 and tap and do it at any point. Shuffle his graveyard if he thinks it's getting down. But
yeah,
I mean, the cases of that coming in, like you need that to happen right then and there, is very minimal. I think Midnight Clock would just be a better replacement for that.
And so I also chose, I agree. I think that's a really good replacement. And again, very similar to the Grand Architect comparison. Like, this is, I think, just a better thing, doing it better for what you want to be doing than Elixir in this kind of deck. Because with the Psychosis Crawler, drawing those extra 7 cards just is a bigger chance of burning everybody for 7. So yeah, I think this is just a strict upgrade. But like I said earlier, Matt is one of my friends, and I know that this is a pet card of his. So he just needs to stop fucking playing this.
You're not even have a replacement card. You just say, don't play this
just
card.
Cut it. Just put a basic land into play. No. Okay. So, I mean, I would just go with another really cheap artifact, Voltaic Key, which is 1 artifact or 1 colorless to come into play, 1 tap it, untap target artifact. You already have that effect with Unwinding Clock and Manifold Key. I would just put Voltaic Key in there. I think it's an easy switch. Yeah. It doesn't mess with your CMC at all. I think they're both good choices, though.
Yep. Never hurts to have the keys in there, being able to untap and all that stuff.
Because he has at least the Grim Monolith in here.
Yep. Got Grim Monolith.
And there are a couple other tap artifacts that, like, that tap for multiple mana. Where
Thran Dynamo he has in there. Yep.
I don't know why he doesn't have Mutavault. Mutavault, yeah. Mutavault should probably be in here, but we only have so much time.
Yeah.
So
I like that. I like the keys in there. The keys are always a good thing to have when you have an artifact deck. All right, the next card that I had cut is Scour from Existence. And
I also cut that.
What that one is, hang on, let me pull that up. It's a 7-drop instant, and it's exile target permanent. That's pretty sweet that you get to exile a permanent, but it's just so much mana for just exiling 1 permanent. I just feel like there's better things that you could put in that spot and bring your mana curve down a little bit. What I put in here, and this is actually one that he put in the email of a card that he wants to add in here, and so I actually was like, shit. This is a card I want you to have in here, and every blue deck should have it, is Teferi, Master of Time. And what Teferi, Master of Time will not only do is it'll get you fucking tons of draw, which is what you want in this deck. It's dick. Whoops.
Deck.
But what you want in this deck, but you also have that phase out thing. So you can phase out I believe it's a creature. Let me check really quick. Master of Time. Just want to.
Yeah, I believe it's creature as well.
It is target creature you don't control phases out. So most likely you're going to use the +1 ability, but you're going to use that on everybody's turn. But then it also has that -3 of phasing out a creature. So you're kind of, I know the Scour is a permanent, but I think this is just a much better replacement. And it's a 4-drop. And then he also has a bunch of extra turn stuff in this deck. So if you get to the 10, it's take 2 extra turns after this one. So that also fits into something that Matt likes to use.
Sub-theme.
Yeah. One. So you have a half one, because that'd be 3 draw or extra turn things that are in here. So I just thought, I think this card in general, if you're playing blue, almost needs to be in a lot of blue decks. A majority of blue decks need to add this.
A lot.
I don't want to say every, but it needs to be in a lot of blue decks. Okay, so what did you put for Scour as your replacement?
So for Scour from Existence, cutting that, I had a couple of different options / choices. I think Spine of Ish-Saw has a chance. Like, it's 7 mana artifact. It comes into play and destroys. I'm pretty sure either permanent or non-land.
Fits in the theme of things, is what you're
artifacts,
saying.
Artifacts, yeah. And if it goes into the graveyard, comes back into your hand, so that you have that repeatability a little bit. I like that. Moving on, River's Rebuke.
The Spine of Ish-Saw is destroy target permanent.
Okay, so that can also hit a land. It just doesn't exile. River's Rebuke, I think, could be a good one where it just like bounces all non-land permanents to an opponent's hand.
I do like that card.
And that's for 6 mana. But I think the one that I would probably choose most is All Is Dust. 7 mana, sorcery, and then all colored permanents are sacrificed.
So you might hit your own, but it's not going to be that many for this because most of his stuff is blue artifacts, if anything. So it's colorless. And so it won't be hit there. And
so I think you'll definitely have more stuff left behind. So it's much more of a one-sided Wrath style card. I mean, another one that you could consider is maybe Ugin the Spirit Dragon as well.
Yeah.
So, and again, that's a little bit more mana. I was thinking like Spine because the artifact stuff with maybe Grand Architect or the Chief Engineer. Just like a bit more ramp there.
I think I agree with your take on All Is Dust, though. I like that.
Yeah.
That's hitting a bunch of stuff. Almost everybody's going to lose stuff, and you're going to lose very little. And it's sacrificing. It gets around their, hexproof, indestructible, anything like that. It just wipes it all out. So I do agree with that.
And that's the problem with River's Rebuke, because it just hits one opponent.
Yeah.
Right. And so that can really just like, that player's gone.
Yeah.
They are done.
Game over for me.
So there we go.
All right. So then jumping into the next card, I just went with Ancestral Vision. I know it's a good draw.
I did as well.
But it just doesn't fit really with the theme of this. What I replaced it with is something that gives you a potential to draw. And it's Psi Master Thopterist. And this also adds into it what his theme is a little bit. He does have a few things that is adding Thopter tokens and everything. But what he does is he's 2 and 1 blue. It's a 1/4. And it's whenever you cast an artifact spell. So you're casting artifacts like crazy. But you create a 1/1 colorless Thopter with flying. You can tap a blue and a color, sacrifice 2 artifacts to draw a card. So you already have other things that are creating 1/1 Thopters. This is also a sack outlet for if somebody's destroying your stuff, drawing cards off of it. There's so many things that you can do with this card. And it's just making your meat force huge. So you can go through and run through people when you're casting 1/1s. You just add to your, because what else does he have in here? He has that enchantment, right? Thopter Spy Network.
Yeah.
One other thing I'll say that Sharding Sphinx could be another thing that would be in this.
I was really tempted to say that too.
Yeah. I didn't say that. I had it replacing something else that I'm not having in here, but Sharding Sphinx would be a good add in this deck as well, because then you're also creating 1/1s as well with that. Because that one, isn't it? Every time your artifacts deal damage, you get a 1/1 Thopter from it. So you're just making a huge meat force at that point. But yeah, so I thought that would be a pretty sweet add. It isn't an artifact, but he creates artifacts by you casting them, so that's pretty sweet.
It's cheap. I think it's really sweet on the CMC.
Yeah.
The draw part, I think, is like if somebody's going for like a destroy, and then you're like, okay, sack, draw as much as I can off of it.
Because I mean, think of Ancestral Vision. You hit that, you draw this, or you draw Ancestral Vision. You have to tap 1 to get Ancestral and wait 4 turns for that to happen, or you get Psi and you're able to do stuff right away. Make creatures, sack you if you need to draw right then and there. Potentially even draw off of that. I just think this is going to do better in a commander game. Ancestral doesn't seem like it would fit very well.
Yeah.
But what did you have replacing it?
And me, cutting Ancestral Vision, I would probably add in Whir of Invention,
I like that
which
one.
is 3 blue and X, and then you can tap artifacts to add to the X, and that goes and puts any artifact from your library into play. It's a Court of Calling for artifacts, essentially. And I saw that you had Fabricate in there, so you're not, adverse to tutors or anything. So I think that's a really good one in its place of Ancestral Vision.
Yep, I totally missed Whir of Invention. That's an awesome tutor, get you right into play card.
Yeah,
I love
for sure.
that card.
It's great on the budget. It's probably just as good. It's not as good as Fabricate, but there are other artifact tutors directly into play type cards. This is probably just as good, if not better.
Yeah.
So
I dig that one. Okay, and then my last one to cut. We talked about this beforehand, and you actually really like this one, but God-Pharaoh's statue. That one, it seemed it's kind of a dickish card, which is fine, but
yeah,
it's a 6-drop. That's an artifact, but then it just all it's doing is making your opponent's spells cost 2 more. Forget that each opponent loses 1 life.
They lose 1 life.
That's meaningless. It's really making you're tapping 6 to just make your opponent's spells cost 2 more. That sucks. It just sucks. But anyways,
I think it's like a fair Karn Great Creator though.
A fair.
Fairer. They're different cards. Never mind. Never mind.
But what I put in replace is something that you can utilize a lot more. And I need to put this in my Bruvac deck. I'm surprised I didn't do this one, but it's Emery, Lurker of the Lock. And it's half the casting cost of what the statue is. So it's 2 and 1 blue. Merfolk Wizard. So it's not an artifact, but it's one. It costs 1 less for each artifact you control. So most of the time, you're paying 1 to get this into play, and then when it hits the battlefield, you mill the top 4 cards of your library into your graveyard, and then you can tap it, choose target artifact from your graveyard, and you may cast that card this turn. The recursion on this is ridiculous, and he does have a lot of recursion things in here, so it fits with that, and you have, if you're not hitting that reshuffle thing, you're always going to have stuff in your graveyard. People are killing shit. It's going to be there. Being able to cast it, bring it back, the recursion part is amazing. And I think this card is a must to be in this deck.
For sure. Yeah. I think Emery's a solid blue artifact. Enabler. I would just put it somewhere else because I love the statue. I want to see it played.
No,
I think it's really cool.
So stupid. I hate that statue. It just seems so dickish. Damn you, Matt, being a dick.
No, so I think I like the statue. I like Emery, and so if I had to choose between the two, I'd probably go Emery for sure.
Good job, Lowery.
So,
but
I agree with
your last one is a card that we talked about beforehand, where I wrote it down as a card that I am going to look at picking more of. So I want to hear this one.
Okay, so I'm going to say you have Echoes of Eons in here, and I would cut that. Again, you'd shuffle in your graveyard, hand, and do the whole thing, and then draw 7 cards. I get it with the Psychosis Crawler, and you're just refilling your hand. I don't dislike it, but since I don't want you, like if you're playing with Emery, I think you have better options to just play from the graveyard a little bit, like Emery. And if you're fighting against that, Emery becomes worse long term. So I would go more artifact recursion, IMO, maybe. But so what I would replace Echoes of Eons with is Shimmer Dragon.
Oh, this is such a good card.
Which is 4 colorless, blue. It's a 5/6 flying dragon. As long as you control 4 or more artifacts, Shimmer Dragon has hexproof. It will have hexproof.
It'll have double hexproof because if you have Padeem out, it's doubly
well,
hexproof.
it's not an artifact though.
Oh, that's a good point.
So it's still just a dragon.
Yeah,
But the kicker here, which is not the keyword, but just the ability, is tap 2 untapped artifacts you control. draw a card.
What?
With Unwinding Clock in here, this is a huge. I think you'll draw more than 7 cards, and then you'll be able to leave your graveyard alone.
And you're not having everybody else shuffle their hand and draw or shuffle their their hand and their graveyard and then drawing 7. That sometimes is benefit if this is late. If that's late game and you do Echo of Eons, you're benefiting the other players by having them draw.
Just as much.
Yeah. So I love this pick for that. Same casting cost, and I think you're right, especially if you're making the Thopter tokens. Just think of that. You have all these your meat force out there, and you're tapping 2 of them and drawing, and it's.
You can even like if somebody was attacking you and you're like block with 2 Thopters, tap them in between and draw a card, and they both die or whatever. Like, I feel like there's a lot more tricks there. I think there's more consistency in drawing. You're also having a threat of a 5/6 flyer. I think this card is just better.
Yeah. Yep. It's cheap as hell too. It's under $1 right now. There isn't foils because it was in the Brawl decks, right? Is that what it was? I got
like 10 of them. I think it's a damn good card.
When we saw this card, we loved that card.
Is there anything else? Like, I think there's a lot of plug and play here because it is a blue artifact deck.
Yeah. Is there other stuff you're saying?
Is there other stuff that you found but just didn't have the time, and we could just list those off real quick?
Well, I did efficient construction because I think that adds in with the what is it? The making Thopters? Is that what it is? I'm trying to make sure. Yeah, whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 Thopter artifact. So it's doing the same thing as Padeem, except it's an enchantment. So you can keep adding in with that kind of stuff. Ward of Bones seems like it could be fun with this deck because it's also an artifact. I like one card that you used and that I now use a little bit if I have blue is Crystal Shard could be pretty good in this because you could bounce other people's stuff. You could bounce your stuff and have your cast stuff trigger again. When you're casting, you get 1/1 Thopters and all that stuff.
And potentially untapping it to do it again.
Yeah.
I put down I think I have like 3 that I really liked but didn't add in. One card that you really like, Mechanized Production.
Yep, I like that.
Which is and so if you went more Thopter themed, I think this would really work for you. Because if you have 10 or more of the same artifact, you win the game. Tezzeret Artifice Master, which is the one like if you control 2 or 3 artifacts, you get to draw 2 cards, or it makes Thopters, or you get to go and find a permanent and put it into play if it ultimates. Like, that card's really good in an artifact deck.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Vidalcan Humiliator, which is a card that I love, but don't have an artifact deck, blue. And that's if it's attacking and you have 3 or more artifacts, all of your opponent's creatures turn into 1/1s.
Oh man. Yeah, that's pretty good.
I think that would be really, really cool here.
Especially because this deck is more of an attack style deck that would work perfect for it.
And so I think being able to just drop everything down to 1/1s would be really, really cool.
So here's my question for you. Out of all of your cards that you wanted to add in, what would be your number 1 pick to put in the deck? If you only could pick one to put in Matt's deck, and you said, you have to have this in here. This is my favorite. This card needs to be in here. It doesn't have to replace the card that you said it did, but you're saying that it needs to be in the deck. What would you...
Oh, probably Shimmer Dragon.
Yeah. I think that.
How about you?
Oh, mine is probably between Emery and to fit with the theme more. I do like Psy Master Thopterus. I do like that card a lot because both of those are working with your artifacts. And like Lowery said, it is very good at doing this. Recursion is really good. And so that's why I really like Emery because and
the two work together with Emery and Psy.
That's a good point.
You're sacking artifacts, being able to bring them back. You might want to lower your curve a little bit more if you're going that route.
Yeah.
But I think those 2 cards are fantastic for sure.
Yeah, I think one of those two is probably my favorite. I think out of the whole thing, out of all of our lists, I think I might pick Shimmer as one of my favorite cards that we have picked on that too. I might pick yours as my favorite one because that is it's a higher casting cost, but what it can do with an artifact deck is really good. And the fact that it'll get hexproof by pretty much because you're playing artifacts, so you're going to have hexproof with it.
Yeah.
So sweet. All right. Well, thanks, Matt, for submitting that deck. You guys can shoot anybody in the Discord if you guys want us to take a look at your deck and have us tear it apart and tell you how stupid. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
I'm kidding.
Yeah, just our unintelligible suggestions.
That's a lot of times what you need. Like when you're looking at a deck, that's a lot of times they'll be like, all right, Lowery, look at my deck. What cards I can't cut the last 7, and when I used to do it before our blueprint episode. Now I don't need your help anymore, Lowery. But sometimes it does help. I'll come to you and I'll be like, all right, dude, I need to cut 4. I need somebody that isn't attached to my deck, that has been looking and building this and has all these feelings to every card. What card should I get rid of? And you just sometimes need that outside perspective to kind of point you in the right direction. So it's interesting to take a look at the deck, and we both don't talk beforehand about it. It's just both of us look at it. And then we write down our list, and then we talk about it before we do the podcast.
Right before.
And so it's interesting that we come up with similar stuff. Or this one was really interesting that we had three of the same cuts out of the 5. And it's interesting, Lowery, that we kind of did it the same way this time. Whereas every other time,
normally we do it all over the place.
Yeah, well, I'll give you this. I put a few more, but just in case you went with a lot so that I had some too. I was like, I don't know which way he's going to go with this, but I like this way of doing it. I think this is the way we do it from now on. I think it's kind of cool to...
Man, I just go with whatever. Because what I ended up doing here was I picked a couple, and then this is what I would do the most. Like I lean towards this the most, but gave options.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I apparently bought a beer with a cork in it.
Oh, do you have to go?
So I need to go. Can I go and cork this?
Go ahead. Go for it.
All right. I'll be right back.
A few minutes later.
I like that. All right. So I just cracked a Wild Mind Artisan Ales again. This one's called Mahalo Sour Ale, fermented with pineapple.
That sounds like a Hawaiian beer. Did AJ send that to you?
Well, no, he didn't. Oh. This is the Wild Mind. They're expensive, but I think it's just Hawaiian because it has pineapple. I don't know. It kind of smelled yeasty there.
Yeasty.
It still smells yeasty.
Did you taste it yet? Oh, there we go. Down the hatch. What you think?
That has some good pineapple flavor.
Okay. All right.
I like that.
All right. So let's move into...
Not amazing.
Just good?
Just good.
All right.
Probably not worth the price tag again, but it's good.
All right, let's move into rotation cards for Core Set 2020.
I don't want relationship, I just want bang, bang, bang.
That's inappropriate, by the way.
I just want bang, bang, bang. So this list we have not gone back and forth with, so I'm going to have to mark which ones we actually...
Oh, by the way, happy birthday, Mark.
Yeah, good.
He's not even listening anymore. But
he may pick back up later in the future and then be like, oh, they
since we wished him a happy birthday via text 2 weeks ago. And he's like, oh, they remember me.
Which we actually did it because Johanna, his wife, had texted us to say his birthday stuff is going on, and I think it was a surprise thing, and then we thought she meant that Monday was his birthday, so we were 2 weeks early. We probably ruined the surprise of whatever they did.
Could have. He's a smart guy. He probably figured it out. He
probably did, because we tried to cover up like, oh, this is what happens after you turn 30.
I think we've done this in the past. We're no idea what's going on.
We're bad at stuff. All right. Let's go through this list.
Can you do that? Can you say that in like a Beavis or Butthead voice?
What?
We're bad at stuff.
Well, I have the... What is it? This one.
You're a stupid dumbass.
Yeah, but that's like their actual voices, and they aren't.
Oh, you want me to do
annoying. Just you doing it isn't. They sound so frustrating.
Shut up, Beavis.
Be around. Yeah. See, that wasn't as bad.
I have that part down, and then any other word or sentence, I can't put that together. It's like my Kermit. Is it the Kermit noise? No, it's
Mickey.
Oh, Mickey. Yeah, I'm like, it's a Kermit that I know how to do. Hey guys,
Just excited.
let's go to rotation cards, guys. Okay. So we are, if you guys don't remember from last week or first time you're listening to this, we are going through a little
You
early.
don't remember from an episode ago. This is what we're doing.
Hey, maybe
again.
we got a new listener this week. Then this is the first time they're hearing this. So
We're not going to explain this. Go back to next week, listen to that,
last
and then
week.
catch up.
Yeah. So we're going through all the rotation cards and kind of picking out the ones that we think you should kind of take a look at, either for your toolbox or for cards that we think will probably go up in the future here. Now would be the time to pick it up because it's going to be the cheapest they're going to be, potentially. So why don't you start off, since I started everything with Matt's list, why don't we have you start with your first one of cards to look at?
All right, so I'm going to go with Yarok the Desecrated.
I have that on my list.
So, and I would say any, because the way I see it is all of them are as low as they're going to go, and they're trending upwards from what I'm seeing.
The only thing I will say is the foils, weren't they 20? Yeah.
But being a highly played, very favorite legend, it's not going down. I don't think any of those prices are going down more than, like a book or two, and then they're going to go back up. Like, this is one of those, like, Zakama cards. Like, people love this.
Yeah, it is. It's in, as a commander, it's in 3,000 decks as a commander, and it's in nearly 3,000 other decks that it isn't a commander in. So you're looking at 6,000. What was that noise? Bumping the mic?
I cheers to my mic.
6,000 decks. I focused on the non-foils because they're at 10, and I think those could easily get over 20, 25. I think you're right. I mean, I think you're definitely right that the foils aren't going to drop any lower than they are, but they're at your lowest one is you're looking at the promo one for about $24.
Pre-release or the
promo course?
Planeswalkers promo?
The Planeswalker one. So that one's at 24. The other foils are at 27 and 30. So the pre-release is the most expensive at this point.
Yeah. So I would say definitely get this into your arsenal type thing.
Yeah. If you don't have a copy of this, get this. It's a little harder of a. I think it's a good spec, but it's harder of a spec because it's a really expensive one. You're dropping 10 for a non-foil. And you're dropping 20, 25 for a foil. I'd love to have a foil of this guy because he is awesome as a commander. Okay. My first one.
It's a really good card.
Yeah. My first one made its news as of today. I'm hoping that it drops way down, but Field of the Dead, it's in 14,000 EDH decks. I'm saying wait for it to drop below 5 is what I'm hoping it gets down to. But it's already in a lot of freaking EDH decks.
Yeah, I mean, it was banned in Historic, which is an arena style, so like not even card based. I mean, it does seem like a really good card, and the question is like, does it continue to get banned? And I don't know even what it is banned in, other than standard Pioneer. That's
why I'm saying this is the only one I'm saying wait, wait for it to drop, especially after the bannings.
Get one. I would get one at $7, like the cheapest that you can find.
Yeah. Right now it's at 12, so you got to wait till it drops is what I was putting. I said wait until it's at 5 to 8. So your $7 is right in that wheelhouse there. And I think as long as it doesn't get banned, it's not going to get banned in EDH, but
no. But
if it gets banned in
I don't
every other format, this could drop really low. But I don't see them
probably not
printing this again, like this card will not get printed because it got banned in so many different formats. They're not going to fuck with that. But your foils are way too expensive. I wouldn't even look at those. You have 50, 40, and 20. The promo is the cheapest one. So I wait till the non-foils drop down between 5 and 8 and pick that one up.
Yeah.
All right.
Agreed.
What is your next one, Lau?
I'm going to go with Mystic Forge.
I got
You
that
got
too.
that one?
Yep.
All right, we're just trading back and forth. This might be a pretty quick segment.
Did you have Field of Dead on yours?
Yes, I did.
Oh, you did? Okay. Let me put check on
Mystic Forge, I was going with the Planeswalker promo foil for $5.
$5. Yep.
Oh, man. We're good at this.
7,200 EDH decks.
Yeah.
That's a solid card.
This is great for artifact decks. Like this was in Matt's Padeem deck. It's good with morph decks. So Sidisi or Ixidor. Those two run this or should be because it works with morph craziness.
It should be in my Bruvac deck, which I need to add that because it's a very good card.
And it has artifact. I mean, that's hey, blue has some pretty good draw. So I don't know if that's something that you need, but it's a very good card for sure.
I could see those foils jumping to 10 to 15 over time there. So that's an awesome pick there. All right.
Thanks for agreeing with me.
Let's see. I'm going to pick the one that had the most decks on EDH rec. So Leyline of Anticipation was in 21,000 EDH decks. Now, I'm going to say I have a few of the ley lines on here because these
I did too.
I think have your best value potential because they have seen really high prices before and they're dirt cheap right now. I was going for the Planeswalker promo foil at $8 and these have been well over 25. These have been up to $40, $50 because it's not
non-foils.
Non-foils. They're played in other formats, which is nice, but it's in 21,000 EDH decks. So it's a good card.
Anticipation is, how many of them are you going to talk about? 3? Let's just talk about all 3 right now.
Yeah, it's funny.
I didn't write down their prices.
Yeah. Leyline of Void, right?
Yep.
You have that? Yeah. Yep. So that one's in 4,300 EDH rec decks. The promo foils at 11, non-foils are at 8. So obviously go for the foils.
For sure.
And that one will be over 30. And then I don't know, you have Leyline of Sanctity?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So we have all the same.
Those 3.
Yep. So that one's not in as many. That one's more of a spec for other formats, but it is used in Commander a little bit. 2,100 decks. But you can get the Planeswalker foils for $4 right now.
Yeah.
And that
was a $20 non-foil before this reprint.
So the ley lines, and I'll tell you this, I've already done my dollar to duels with the ley lines like a few months ago because I bought them cheap with the foils and all that stuff. These I'm probably going to pick up more because they're no brainers. They're going to get back up once rotation happens here.
Very cool.
So why don't you do the next one then, since I kind of done all the ley lines there.
Ajani, Strength of the Pride. Did you do that?
Yes, I did.
That's all right.
So far, we're 1,
on the
2,
same
3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for 7.
Ajani, Strength of the Pride. I would go for a normal foil at $15.
Yeah, that's what did I have?
The promo foil seemed to be like 25.
The non-foils are at 12. I didn't realize there were ones for 15.
Yeah.
You're right. They're 16.50, which means they're around 15 because that's goldfish.
So
prices.
the non-foils might dip a bit more. I don't see the foils going down. This card goes in every Aloro deck, essentially. Anything that's gaining a ton of life that you're going to be over your 40, you buy this.
Yeah.
You play it.
This was the card that I was surprised existed when Trombley played it and that you can ultimate it right away.
I bought this for $5 when it came out. I was like, what the fuck is it? This is so low.
Yeah.
And then right after it jumped up to like 10 and now it's, where it is.
And mind you, it's at this price and there's not a ton of decks that are using it. It's only in 3,000 EDH rec decks. So when
it's not playing it standard.
When people start realizing how good this card is, this card will skyrocket. Because, if you guys don't remember, the ability for 4, you bring this out, it's 2 white and 2 colorless. For 0, if you have at least 15 life, more than your starting life total, exile it, and each artifact and creature your opponents control. You just win the game right there if you're playing a life game
for 4 mana.
Yeah, it's insane. It's such a good card. It's probably one of the top picks to get here.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to see if I can keep this streak going. I think
I know I have at least 2 that you don't have.
Okay. Well, I'm going to see if we can make 8 for 8. All right.
Okay.
I have Golos Tireless Pilgrim. Do you have that?
I do not. Oh, you failed.
Damn it.
Oh, damn to you.
Shit. So
okay.
Golos is, this one's even more than Yarok. It has more decks because it's a 5-color commander. It's 4,400 commander decks, and it's in 4,000 decks in itself. So you're looking at almost 8,500 decks for this card. I was going for the non-foils with this because they're at $5, and this will probably get over 10 to 15. I actually want to check the actual foils, what they're at. And it's been on the rise because you could have got these back in April for $2, and now it's up to $5. The foils, that's another sign that the non-foils are going to go higher. Is foils are at 45 and 30. So they're quite a bit higher than the non-foils at this point.
Yeah. Yep.
So I just think it's a good 5-color commander for 5. It does quite a bit. Number 2. Oh, shit. Number 2 has a deck, or this deck. Hey, number 2.
Hey, number 2.
There we go. He just played this one.
Does he?
Yeah, he just played it the last time.
He makes all of my decks. I have this one. We spotlighted this.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Number 2's a fucking cheater. He just takes my decks. Whatever.
Son of a bitch.
Just kidding.
All right, what's your next one? I want to see if we can match any
I'm
others.
sure you have this one. Elvish Reclaimer.
I didn't put that on here.
What?
I didn't
This
put
card's
Elvish.
probably really good. So I'm going to go. So this one is 1 green. It's a 1/2. And then if you have like a couple lands in your graveyard, it gets
I do
+2
like that card
+2.
a lot. Yeah.
And then you can pay to tap it, sack a land, and put a land into play from your library.
And I'm guessing you're saying foils on these guys?
The promo foils are $350. That is a steal long term. This is crop rotation on a stick, and a foil crop rotation, which is super old, granted, are probably like $100.
Yeah.
Maybe dipping after the full art, stuff like that. But the card is a really, really good card. This is probably a really, really good card. But at $350 promo, the Planeswalker promo foil, I think that's going to be a really good price for $350.
Yep, I missed that guy.
I think I can trade away the non-foils for $2 right now. And I won't.
And I won't.
I think the non-foils are a $5 card. I think the foils are 10 to 15.
Yep. I don't have numbers of how much he's used. I could look at it really quick.
I don't think he's used very much. I think that's the big thing. Like, it's super cheap, and it doesn't look like there's a ton to it, but just that
he's in 5,000 EDH rec decks.
Oh, that's
pretty
going
good.
someplace.
Yeah.
But just being able to go and get Cradle,
just
like another option for it is amazing.
For 1 drop that you can, that's really good. I'll be picking up some of those. All right, my next one, trying to see if you'll get this one. I'll go with the one that has more decks using it than the other. But Agent of Treachery is in 7,600 EDH rec decks. The non-foils are currently at $4, and I could see those probably getting to 10, maybe a little higher than that. But it's a nice way to steal someone's permanent. I mean, it's a 7-drop, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's my biggest problem is I just don't see it getting that high because of the CMC at 7.
But, I mean, it's already in 7,600 EDH rec decks, which is a lot that's one of the higher ones on our list. Besides the ley lines, that's the second highest on the list that we've talked about. Field of the Dead was the highest, and then this would be second for decks that are using it. Because it's any permanent. So you can steal that Gaia's Cradle or steal whatever's on, and it doesn't matter if he dies, you keep it.
You get to keep it.
Yeah. And it has a bonus that if you are a stealing deck, if you control 3 or more permanents you don't own, you get to draw 3 cards. But I mean, it's going in the steel deck, or you can, any deck that you're stealing stuff, it's going in that, but it could be in anybody's deck. It's the hard part is the 7-drop is a little tough. But think of flickering this. Use this with your.
I've thought of it. I didn't do it.
All right. So what is it your last one? I think you started.
I have 2 more.
Okay. So
if
I
that's
do too.
okay.
I do too, actually. I had 11 on my list, so
right.
I cheated.
I just figured you were going to say ley lines, so that worked for me. Saphara Sky's Blade.
I don't have that one either.
I know you don't, because it's bulk. This is bulk. All of it's bulk, and buy it super. It's basically you put it in a flying deck like Kaikar or any of the spirit decks that are being made, or just flying in general. But you can pay white 4 and tap 4 flying creatures. You get to put a 7/7 flying lifelink. All of your other flyers gain indestructible. The card is really, really good, and it's bulk.
That is pretty crazy. Yeah,
it has lifelink, right?
Yep. Flying lifelink. Yep.
It's fucking bonks.
And it gives all your other creatures flying and indestructible.
Everything with flying has indestructible.
Oh, other creatures. Yeah, sorry. Other creatures you control with flying. So
the card is crazy, though, because you can tap all of your creatures, and let's say like you have just the one blocker of Saphara, and they attack you with a bunch. You're gaining 7 life, being able to block whatever and killing one of their creatures. Like, they're not going to attack you again. Mm-hmm. And if you put a Boots or a Greaves on it, or have some other type of protection, it's a super cheap Avacyn Angel of Hope, giving all of your stuff indestructible. It's narrow, but it's super cheap.
I'll give you, he or she is in almost 5,000 EDH rec decks as well.
And it's bulk.
Yeah,
so
you're looking at foils for about $2.
Yeah. And this was, I think it was one of those like promo decks that came out. It was like the face card. But Agent of Treachery was also one of those face cards for like the intro decks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
I dig this.
I
might have to pick up some of those.
Yeah, super good. Super good. Like I said, I had it in Kaikar, and it was like, boom, this is amazing. This is really good in Alila.
Well, I mean, think of it as just as a commander could be good. You're just playing a bunch of little 1/1 flying easy cast and stuff, and you just cast this your 4th turn, or not even 4th turn. You could do it probably turn 2 or 3. 7/7 flying. All your other ones have flying and indestructible. That's pretty brutal.
Then you leave your little guys back to block, and you're attacking with a 7 flying lifelink. Like, it's a dang good card for 50 cents.
Yeah, I like it. I like that one. Good job, Lowery. All right, my next one is, I don't know if you don't like this one as much. I don't think, but Lotus Field.
I hate it.
It's
all right.
It's in 6,400 EDH rec decks. Promo foils are at about 7 right now. I could see this one getting over 15 down the road. It's sweet because it has hexproof on it, and you're sacking lands, but they don't have to be untapped, which is cool because you can do your turn, sacrifice the tapped lands, and it comes in, and you get your next turn 3 land, and this won't be targeted by anybody. So, and
it goes really well into like Get Drug Monster and Titania Argoth Protector. Like it just slots into those heavily played commander decks. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I see the potential there, like you're saying.
Yeah. All right, and what is your last one, Lau?
This is super bulk stuff right here. So I don't know if anybody's going to agree with me on this. This is Cryptic Caves. Again, bulk land, uncommon. It is taps for colorless, and then if you have 5 or more land, you can pay 1, tap it, sack it to draw a card. So
I don't know about this one, Lowery.
You don't know what you're talking about. So this to me is a card that goes in any deck that struggles drawing cards, or if you are playing with any type of land recursion within your deck, so like a Crucible World style, if you're doing a little bit more, it just adds that extra draw. Like the Modern Horizon lands that are rare that we like.
Mm-hmm.
This is an uncommon version, super cheap. Foils are like 50 cents. And I think there's some good potential there.
Yeah, it's in 4,000 decks. So it's not too bad.
So, and it's at least 1,000 of mine. So, wink.
1,000 of yours? You have that many, Lowery?
Yeah.
Damn it! I didn't have the right buttons up. Shoot! I was like, oh shit! Yeah.
So no, I think this one. You could say that I'm off my rocker here, but I think this isn't that far of a stretch because you wouldn't want to be. Think of those Modern Horizon lands that we do like.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to do that early turns, right? You're going to do it late.
Yeah.
So this is almost not like that part is you're doing it at the same time. And this is uncommon. You can get them in foil
for super cheap. I think that's the part that gets me is the super cheap is nice. The foil price.
That's the thing. Like they're super cheap. I think that's the big thing. Like if that starts getting, I see this being like a $5 foil, and getting it at 50 cents. I think that's more than a steal.
Yep, get a bunch of them, and then buy list them back. Definitely could work. Okay, my last one is a reprint card that was pretty damn expensive until it got reprinted here. But it's Steel Overseer, so it's a nice card for those artifact decks. You can get the foils at $3 right now, which is crazy cheap, considering that the Magic 2011 foils got over 30, 40. Actually, no, wait. They got up to 50 at one point right before this got reprinted. Then it dropped, and now they're $8. You can pick up the Magic 2011 ones for $8, but why pick up those when you can pick up these for $3? They aren't in a ton of decks. It's only in 2,600 decks. So, because it's a niche thing that you're going after, it's going to go in your artifact decks. But
yeah, and if Matt there went towards that Thopter.
This would be perfect in that. Yeah.
It totally works. And I think it works in Brea decks for sure. If you're going aggro instead of combo with that, like if you're going more fair, I think it works there. I think it's a great card for sure. That's a great pick.
So sweet. Well, that was a good list. It's funny. So the last list that we did, I went through them all, and I'll tell you what my number one pick from last time. I want to do the same thing here. My number one pick for last time was Beast Whisperer. That's when I went deep on with and I missed when you said the
media promo
foils were sweet because it has all the 5 symbols on the foil stuff, which is awesome. And you can get those still for like $2, and that card is ridiculously good. But what I did was I took our list. I went off of what our podcast stuff. I'm like, all right, what did Lowery say? I'm like, okay, I like that. I already have some of that. I'll add that to my list. And I actually made like a $100 spec buy with all the stuff that we picked. And I got a shit ton of cards for that amount of money, and it's for dirt cheap. So I'm going to do the same here. What is your favorite? Let's take the ley lines out of it because I honestly would probably say the ley lines would be my favorite pick. But take the ley lines out. What's your favorite pick?
Ley lines. The one my favorite versus what I would most likely do. So my favorite would be a Johnny Strength of the Pride for 15 foils.
Yeah, I think that would be
$15 foils. But I mean, that's kind of out of my price range for speccing. So I would go Cryptic Caves foils for 50 cents.
You cheap
I would
ass.
go deep on that. I'm a cheap ass motherfucker. So
let me rephrase that. If you could pick one card to hatch your bets on and be like, okay, this card is going to get me boom, I'm going to make so much money off of this. I'm going to go, like, let's say the Trombley and Adam route and go 300 deep on Oath of the Gatewatch.
Oh, cryptic caves.
That's what you do, the foils of those?
I don't know.
Let's say you had $500 to spend on any one card here and get as many copies as you wanted.
Oh, if we have a limited amount of money, then cryptic caves. If we had unlimited amount of money, then I would probably go.
And I wouldn't be buying cards because I'd have
Not
unlimited
Leyland's.
money. I wouldn't go. I have unlimited money. Why am I buying a bunch of cards to get more unlimited money?
Because I don't. Yeah, well, that's how greed works.
Yeah.
Why isn't Jeff Bezos just doing anything else other than what he's doing? Elvish Reclaimer.
That's a pretty good pick.
I don't know. What do you think?
Pretty good. I might be leaning towards Mystic Forge, although I do like the Ajani pick. The only thing that doesn't match is the decks. And Field of the Dead is in 14,000. If that dropped, if I knew that was going to drop, I would go that. Honestly, if we threw the ley lines back in, I would hit Ley Line of Anticipation and get those foils like crazy. So throwing those back in, would you go a ley line or would you stay with?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would go a ley line if I could.
Yeah.
And any of them.
Yeah. For
really.
Sure.
I think all three of them are the best picks out of the however many we talked about right there.
Yeah.
Because they've proven themselves, right?
For sure.
In various formats. Void works in a bunch.
And I think,
Anticipation,
like you've said before, is price memory, where people remember that these were at this price. And so you have a tendency that knowing that they can get up to, like people will spend that money again because they were that amount at one point. And I don't see them reprinting these for a long time. They took how many years to print these again? When were the ley lines last printed? Were they in
Anticipation? This is their second printing of it. Sanctity, this is their third, and Void, this is their third.
Oh, it was 2011 was the last.
Maybe even fourth.
So you went 9 years between Ley Line of Anticipation and I think the other ones too, actually.
Sanctity had a Modern Master.
Yep, you're right there. Yep.
Reprinting, and Void had a core set previously. Same time as Anticipation.
It was Magic. 2011. So
you
went.
Void was originally in Ravnica.
Yep. Void was in Guild Pack.
Same fucking.
Same thing. Sorry.
Same thing. It's Ravnica block. Original Ravnica block it was in. So yeah. I think ley lines are pretty good things, and probably Anticipation over the others. So I think we both agree there.
Yeah.
Other than Cryptic Caves. So I'm just saying that for the meme at this point, right?
I might throw 50 cents at one of them. just so when that card hits $5, I'm like, oh, that was right.
Seriously, right now, Cryptic Caves is in probably 5 or 6 of my decks.
Man, those are terrible decks.
Maybe. Okay, do you know that Zephyrin Void that came out in Dominaria? Like
the one I like with the scrying? Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is better.
You're crazy.
Drawing a card is always better than scrying a card.
Yeah, but you gotta sack it, don't you?
Yeah, but drawing is better than scrying. I just said that.
But you gotta sack your land. The other one you don't have to sack.
Eventually, one's an immediate ETB thing.
Yeah.
But drawing a card is fantastic, and if you can get repeatability out of it...
You never like sacking your lands. What are you talking about?
Oh, no, that's not true. That is not true. There was a game that I was playing with my... the assassin guy. I'm blanking on his name. But he's Mardu colors. Black, white, red.
Mm-hmm.
And with caves, with Cryptic Caves and the other type of Horizon lands... I had drawn more cards than the mono blue player in that deck. And I was like, fucking right. No, don't.
Good for you.
Don't do that. Whatever. Now you're just pressing buttons.
I don't want a relationship. I just want
Yeah, you are.
bang, bang. I don't want to know your name. I just want bang, bang, bang.
Bang, bang, bang. Right on.
All
good.
right. Where do you think we are today? Where are we at with the number?
Hour and a half.
125. Although there's a couple breaks there.
Yeah.
A few minutes later.
I like that you did
That should be
that.
our new thing.
Yeah.
That can be our thing.
Meanwhile,
He started sounding like Jim Gaffigan's like manatee joke thing where he's like, I'm just a seahorse cow.
What is it?
I know.
It's so crazy how it,
he's
it sounds so different when our hands are over the mic.
you're not saying anything. You just have your hands over.
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Should we do a whole episode like this? It sounds like NPR.
I think we can sound like NPR without doing this. That was a skit idea.
And now
At the beginning, I was
rest
like,
of
we
the
should
story.
just go NPR style the whole episode.
Yeah.
You rejected that idea.
Because
For sure.
I wouldn't make it through it. You know us with scripting and trying to do bits.
Yeah. Well,
We're
I'm
not good.
already close to doing that anyway, so there is no emotion in this robotic voice.
All right. Well, we should probably wrap this up. I believe we know for sure our next episode will be the giant War of the Spark rotation cards.
There's a lot of fucking good cards in there.
There's so many.
Oh, man. I was not wrong. There's a lot of yeast at the bottom of this bottle.
Gross.
Yeah, I'm going to poop tomorrow like a champ.
Oh, I just got my sounder. I don't need to listen to this episode back through. I just cut that up and put that to the beginning. Thank you, Lowery.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that should do it for this week. We will catch you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.
Sega. You son of a bitch.